The Classic Slate in our Old Hunter line is a horizontal laminate, which you don't see a whole lot of, but we did that specifically for a reason. Cherry and walnut tend to create some of the best slate calls, and we put them together and it enhanced it even more. We have walnut on top, cherry on the back. This is a slate over glass. Great sounding call, comes with a Dymondwood Striker. Everyone's familiar with a slate call, and you always want to have a good slate call in your pocket. And the Old Hunter line, especially the Classic, is a good one to have. The maintenance on a slate call is pretty simple. Some of the do's and the don'ts: you don't want to be putting your fingers on the slate. You obviously don't want it to get wet. The oil from your fingers could get in there and make it slick. But basically the maintenance for any slate call is your Scotch-Brite pad, which comes with the call. You're scuffing it up, and that's about all you're doing. If it would get wet, don't put it in any extreme heat. Just sort of let it dry out, you know, over a few hours or something. As far as your striker to run your slate call, try to keep your tip a little bit dome shaped. Never want to sand it flat. It'll run easier if it's dome shaped. And all you're going to do is knock it off a little bit with some sandpaper, touch it with your Scotch-Brite, and you're good to go. Okay, running a slate call, it's pretty simple. All your pot calls you're going to run basically the same. It's all angle and pressure. A nice smooth stroke, and you always want to keep your striker on the surface. You don't want to be picking it up. And always end up right where you start. If you start here, after the yelp is complete, you should be right back where you started. Popping it and just snapping it for cuts and clucks. Always end up right where you start. One of the great advantages of a slate call is that true turkey tone. It's hard to get in other calls. A slate kind of produces its own so realistic tone, and you can tone it down, still have that good rollover, and you can crank them up and still have that rollover. A slate is a very versatile call and probably one of the most popular out there, and I won't go to the woods without a good slate call. Our Old Hunter line is one that we're really proud of. Over the last 30 years, we've sort of put together the calls that worked and calls that didn't work, and these are by far our 6 favorites, and we think they're very popular with the turkey hunters. We have a mahogany box with a Brazilian cherry lid, a cedar soft talker, cedar striker, and cedar pot. We have our black acrylic pot, which is very famous to all hunters, glass over slate, and the Classic Slate, which is the grandfather of the whole deal here. The slate that is very popular, set in a walnut and a cherry pot, comes with a Dymondwood Striker, sort of a modern twist to these calls. In our mouth call line, we go from our True 2, which is a very clear, easy to run claw, all the way up to the other end of the spectrum with a 3-reed V-cut, which is very raspy. So we cover all end of the spectrum with our Old Hunter line, and there's a lot of trial and error went into these calls, and we're very proud of them.